Part 201. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2001. His people, he protects them. Oh, so he is the messenger of the chief minister. We didn't know, so we accidentally injured him. Sun Zi sneered at the award of the gold medal by the third department of the tribunal, and didn't take it seriously. From his point of view, Fang Fan was just a young boy who had only been in the temple for a few months, but it was only luck and showing off that allowed him to pass. His Majesty the Pope was happy, and then he got such a position as the director. More importantly, Fang Fan's qualifications are too shallow. Nor does it originate from any big family in the temple. Is it? Accidentally injured. Is that how it happened by mistake? Snapped. Fang Fan stretched out his hand, and slapped him across the face. A loud slap sounded, and the scene seemed extremely strange for a while, and everyone's eyes were focused on it. At this moment, I really don't know what to say. Treacherous. Sun Zi felt the burning sensation coming from his face in the gold medal award of the adjudication office, and subconsciously widened his eyes, with an expression of disbelief all over his face. He was beaten. I was blinded by a slap. At this moment, endless anger and killing intent emerged in his heart. This bastard director who seemed to be a puppet actually dared to beat him, the powerful gold medal adjudicator. How? The gold medal judge wants to fight back. Then you also said it was the director who accidentally injured you. Come on, you just need to touch me once, and I can kill you as a crime for murdering the director. Do you have the guts? While Fang Fan was speaking, he slapped him again. Snapped. The loud slap sounded again. Sun Zi's eyes widened, and his expression became more and more vicious. But he had to admit that what Fang Fan said was true. Although he always thought that Fang Fan was destined to become the puppet director, but he was the director after all. When the identity of the director is placed here, it should be able to show something. As for the others, there is really no need for too many words, there is really no need for this. Even if he wished to swallow Fang Fan alive at this moment, he could only choose to endure. 2 consecutive slaps came over, and his complexion was already extremely purple. Director Fang Fan, what exactly do you want to do? Sun Zi of the Tribunal Gold Medal Tribunal gritted his teeth and asked viciously. What are you doing? Naturally, to avenge my messenger. It hurt me, so forget it if you want to. Does the gold medal award make it possible for you? Do you think it is possible? This leg and an arm, gotten need a little feedback. Fang Fan bared his teeth and grinned, while looking at Sun Zi, the gold medal adjudicator, and then at the 7 or 8 people gathered behind him. These people have blood on their hands. Master Fang Fan, I've said it all, it was an accidental injury. It was an accidental injury. Could it be possible for us to lose our lives for a 7th rank priest? The adjudication office's gold medal award made Sun Zi grit his back molars, and he was already at the peak of anger while speaking. So what's the matter? Fang Fan shrugged and said indifferently. I'm a very reasonable person. My courier lost an arm and a leg. You participants, each of you should also lose an arm and a leg. Wouldn't it be good for everyone to cancel each other out? Fang Fan smiled silently and made a suggestion. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2002. Today, this matter cannot be solved so easily. This is not only related to Hao Yun's injury, but also his first assertion in the tribunal. If you are cowardly this time, it will not be so easy if you want to get hard in the future. Right now, Fan Fan's foundation is not very deep. If he is not tougher, it is very likely that he will lose power. At that time, he, the director of the third department, could only be said to be lonely. Don't Chief Fang Fan feel that what he said is a bit too much? Do you think this is possible? Does Director Fang Fan really think that we will be caught without a fight? Isn't Director Fang Fan a little whimsical? Sun Ziyi sneered at the gold medal award of the adjudication office. He didn't even bother to hide it at the moment, and directly showed his killing intent. When his murderous intent was revealed, it already revealed the excitement in his heart. Whimsical? Is it? Why don't the gold medal judges set an example first? Sun Ziyi's gold medal adjudicator. Fang Fan glanced at the golden waistband of the middle-aged man in the purple robe in front of him. There was the word Sun Ziyi on it, so it was naturally his name. He, ridiculous. If Director Fang Fan is in a hurry, he can stay here. I don't have the time to argue with you here. Sun Ziyi, the gold medal adjudicator of the adjudication office, strode out as he spoke, as if he didn't pay attention to Fang Fan. While speaking, this Sun Ziyi directly revealed the cultivation base of the 4-star sanctuary realm. The deputy second-rank acting cardinal is paired with a 4-star sanctuary realm, which is considered a low match. Rules of the tribunal: those who do not obey the order, beheaded. Silver-armored puppet. Kill me. Fang Fan snorted coldly, and then the silver-armored puppet in the 5-star sanctuary realm was released directly by Fang Fan. Although it needs to provide the energy of 1,000,000 star cores for a minute, this wave of pretentiousness must not lose. While Fang Fan was talking, his eyes became sharper, and various thoughts gathered in his mind, and the killing intent was directly revealed, mixed with a majestic momentum of swallowing mountains and rivers. Just rely on the shrimp soldiers and crab generals around you. Sun Ziyi sneered at the gold medal award of the adjudication office, with a look of disapproval on his face. While speaking, he pushed his hands out indifferently. Just for a moment, a look of infinite horror suddenly appeared on his face. He saw a spear appearing in front of his eyes, and then, with his face full of horror, he stabbed directly at his chest. This shot is mixed with an irresistible momentum. No, do not want. Sun Ziyi let out a roar for the gold medal award of the adjudication office, and then pulled his body backwards. While talking, his gnashing of teeth was vividly displayed. While speaking, his body backed up rapidly. Subconsciously, his hands were directly in front of him. Stab. Click. The spear entered the body, directly piercing the bone. Wisps of fresh blood shot out, giving people a sense of mental shock. Looking at this moment, I feel inexplicably flustered. Ah, my hands, my hands. Fang Fan. Fang Fan. You have such a vicious heart. Ah. Sun Ziyi's lips trembled in the gold medal award of the adjudication office, and his complexion turned pale. Now that he was speaking, his complexion had already turned as white as paper. A sense of panic surged in my heart, and the whole person was completely in a state of panic and anxiety. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2003. This gold medal ruling made Sun Ziyi really not expect that Fang Fan would actually attack him, and he also did not expect that there was such a strong person beside Fang Fan. With one move, he, a strong 4-star sanctuary, was defeated. According to this trend, it won't be long before he will be completely crushed. The situation is like this: it's useless. Seeing the silver-armored man in front of him continue to swing the spear in his hand, Sun Ziyi completely panicked. He blocked the first wave of attacks by sacrificing his arms, but there was really nothing he could do about the second wave of attacks. This shot was still aimed directly at the part of his skull. Once stabbed, it is conceivable that his head will explode directly. Director Fang Fan. Enough is enough. Sun Zi's gold medal adjudicator is the backbone of our third department, and I hope that Director Fang Fan will let him go because of my black bones. He's learned his lesson. In the distance, a skinny old man walked over. While speaking, the sinister expression on his face was vividly displayed. From Fang Fan's perspective, he always felt that this guy looked very sinister. It seems that there has always been a conspiracy. From a comprehensive look, it inexplicably gives people a sense of defensiveness. This is not the first time that Fang Fan has heard of the name Wugu. In the main hall, he had heard that Zhu Xiansheng kept mentioning it. At that time, the default candidate for the director of the third department was this Wugu. At this moment, this black bone is the deputy director of the third department, the second-rank cardinal of the temple, and his status is naturally extraordinary. In addition to the deputy director of the third department, there is another deputy director named Do Shun, who is also the second-rank cardinal of the temple. As for the director of the third department of the previous tribunal, he was completely killed because he was reported as a heresy. Your face. Why should I give you face? Are you the director here, or am I the director? In the temple, does the director need your permission to enforce the law? Do you want to go to the Pope and have a good talk? Fang Fan snorted coldly, and while talking, he glanced sharply and brightly. The deputy director of the third department, Wu Gu, is a 6-star sanctuary, and he can be regarded as a rare powerhouse in the temple. After all, he is a cardinal of the second rank, so his status is naturally extraordinary. Director Fang Fan, I can understand that the new official has 3 fires, but in the tribunal, you still need to abide by some rules of the tribunal. Especially in the third division, does Director Fang Fan really think that he can cover the sky with one hand? Or have you always had such confidence? Wu Gu, deputy director of the third department of the tribunal, was speaking with a threatening expression on his face. In the words, the aura of the 6-star sanctuary was directly oppressing, and a suffocating feeling came from the surroundings. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, his murderous intent flickered completely. This is already a frontal provocation. Wu Gu, the deputy director of the third department of the tribunal, smiled coldly. The position of director was originally his, and Zhu Sage had already agreed to him. But who would have thought that Chen Yaojin would be killed on the way and directly seized his original position as director? How could he bear it? At this moment, he was naturally unhappy with Fang Fan, and even wanted to openly fight against him. Now they are in opposition to each other, which seems extremely normal. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2004. It's all gone. What are you doing here? Master Director, just talk about it casually. Is it possible that you really want to cut off your limbs? If someone maliciously wants your hands and feet, don't you know how to resist? All of you are gold, silver, and bronze adjudicators of my third department, and most of you are strong in the sanctuary realm. How can you be bullied by a group of young people who have not yet been promoted to the sanctuary realm? The deputy director of the third department of the adjudication office said sinisterly. In fact, he was implying everyone, don't be scruples because of Fang Fan's status as the director of the third department, and resist if you have to. Hearing Wu Wu, the deputy director of the third department of the tribunal, the 7 or 8 people in front of them suddenly became relaxed. They felt that the deputy director of the Black Bone was backing them, and they immediately pulled them up. This proud posture was vividly displayed. Between the words, the gaze became sharper and sharper. At this moment, the eyes looking at Fang Fan are full of disdain and indifference. The commander ordered that within 1 minute, 1 arm and 1 leg be amputated, and after 1 minute, there will be no mercy. Fang Fan drew out the Zhantian sword and waved it in front of his eyes became more and more indifferent. The first wave of confrontation, cannot lose. The black bone in front of him is indeed a 6-star sanctuary, but it is not without the opportunity to resist. As long as the silver-armored puppet drags the black bone of the 6-star sanctuary, the next thing will be much easier. The Bloodshura Legion he brought is a 2-star sanctuary realm, and after using the Legion's exclusive skill Sura Unity, he can temporarily have a 4-star sanctuary realm combat power, plus a 1-star sanctuary realm Yellow Turban Sanctuary Warlock Legion. With the help of the enemy, it is completely possible to complete a wave of anti-killing. In addition, since Fang Fan was promoted to the absolute peak sanctuary realm, the cultivation bases of all the heroes have also been promoted to the 3-star sanctuary realm. When the time comes, with full force, it shouldn't be a big problem to kill these guys in front of you. Fang Fan's eyes glanced at Hao Yun's injury, and the killing intent was even more serious at this moment. It's the first time to come to the tribunal and take up the post, Wei must stand up. Fang Fan. I will give you 3 points of face, but you are still the director of the 3rd department. If I don't give you face, you are nothing. In the 3rd division, if you behave yourself, you may save your life, otherwise, hee. Wu Gu, the deputy director of the 3rd department of the adjudication office, strode out immediately after speaking. Otherwise what? Otherwise, you will plot against and kill Shangguan? Murder my brother Fang Fan. Black Bone, who gave your dog gall? Boom. In the distance, Dong Qiushuo, the saint of the Light Alliance Temple, flew over, and then kicked Wu Gu, the deputy director of the 3rd department of the tribunal, and kicked him far away. Who? Who kicked me? Don't want to live anymore? Stand up. Sudden attack, Wu Gu howled a few times, but when he saw Dongguo's face clearly, his complexion changed drastically. He is the 2nd-rank cardinal of the temple, and he also has a 6-star sanctuary, so he is arrogant, and feels that he is invincible. But in front of Dong Qiushuo, the saint of the temple, he is a hammer. Not to mention that the saint is a sub-1st-rank priesthood, and Dong Qiushuo is still an 8-star sanctuary, which is more than 10 times stronger than his 6-star sanctuary. Sage Dongguo, this is a matter of my court, it's inappropriate for you to intervene rashly. The deputy director of the 3rd department of the tribunal, with a black face, roared with displeasure. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2005. Although he didn't dare to confront this Dongguo saint directly, it's okay to say a few words. After all, he is not from Dongguo saint's lineage, and the backer behind him is such saint. Fang Fan is my brother, why is it inappropriate for me to join in? Do you have any opinion? Dong Qiushuo raised his head indifferently, while talking, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. Wu Gu, deputy director of the 3rd department of the tribunal, clenched his teeth, his body trembled unnaturally, all kinds of thoughts violently churned in his mind, and the twitching speed of the corners of his mouth became faster and faster. Sage Dongguo, if you are not like this, then Sage Zudge. Snapped. Before Wu Gu could finish his sentence, Dong Qiushuo slapped him across the face, looking extremely crisp. If you feel dissatisfied, you can file a complaint with Zudge Sage. If it doesn't work, go to the Pope to complain. I'd like to see, in the adjudication office, if you, as the deputy director, want to blatantly evade the director, and obey the director's orders, what good will you do? It's ridiculous. While Dong Qiushuo was talking, the look of disdain on his face became more and more intense. While talking at the moment, I feel extremely confident. Wu Gu, the deputy director of the 3rd division of the tribunal, stroked the place where he had been beaten by Dong Qiushuo. His eyes trembled at the moment, and he wanted to vent his endless resentment, but in front of Dong Qiushuo, he didn't have the guts at all. To put it bluntly, the gap between them is too big. Snort. I will definitely report this matter to Sage Zudge. Wu Gu, the deputy director of the 3rd Division of the tribunal, snorted coldly, uttered a harsh word, then rolled his eyes, and retreated directly. His complexion became extremely complicated. At this moment, the displeasure on his face was beyond words, and the indignation in his heart completely exploded. But in the final analysis, it can only express my helplessness and aggrieved feeling. Seeing Wu Gu leave directly in disgrace, the rulings of several 3rd Divisions who had previously beaten Hao Yun and resisted Fang Fan panicked instantly. At this moment, they looked at each other, and the corners of their mouths twitched. Without the support of Deputy Director Wu Gu, they would not be the opponents of the silver-armored man beside Fang Fan at all, not to mention the Saint Dongguo standing beside Fang Fan at the moment. Saint Dongguo said Brother Fang Fan on the left and Brother Fang Fan on the right. Didn't this already show his attitude? How dare everyone gossip and talk nonsense? Fang, Master Fang Fan. Before, I, Sun Ziyi, offended you because I had no eyes. I didn't really want to fight against you. Yes, it's the deputy director of Wu Gu, he said he would give you a blow. This matter really has nothing to do with me. I have no grievances with Mr. Fang Fan in the past, and we have no enmity in the present. How could I be so stupid as to provoke Mr. Secretary? It's really the deputy director of Wu Gu. You took his position as director, and he felt resentful, so he found us. We youngsters don't dare to offend him. Sun Ziyi, the gold medal adjudicator of the adjudication office, was speaking and then rushed to Fang Fan, kowtowing like garlic. Now the situation has become extremely obvious. If he still can't see the situation clearly, he can directly kill himself now. Thinking of the indifferent look in Fang Fan's eyes when he ordered the silver-armored man to kill him just now, he trembled for a while. These feelings gathered in his mind, and the gold medal award of the Adjudication Institute made Sun Ziyi subconsciously swallow his saliva crazily. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2006. He can't die. He wants to save himself. This wave, he will definitely hold on. At this moment, the sense of panic in my heart was completely gathered, and the trembling range of my body became bigger and bigger. He hasn't heard Fang Fan's reply from now until now. The gold medal award by the Adjudication Institute made Sun Ziyi's face even more terrified. Tremblingly, he took out a knife, and then clenched his back molars tightly, then his heart turned and he cut directly towards the root of his legs. Stab. Stab. Click. Both legs were broken in an instant, and the sound of bone shattering sounded, inexplicably frightening. At this moment, everyone's eyes are focused here, and the panic on their faces is beyond words. I didn't expect Sun Ziyi, the gold medal adjudicator of the adjudication office, to be so decisive. The man in silver armor pierced through the bones of his hands, basically crippling his hands, and then he used his mind to hold the knife, and he actually cut off his two legs like this. This kind of courage is obviously not something that ordinary people can possess, and this is also a rare and ruthless person. Everyone looked at each other, inexplicably feeling scalp numb. There is even a feeling of being shown off. At this moment, Sun Ziyi's hands were crippled by the gold medal award of the adjudication office, and his feet were basically cold. The scene seemed extremely weird at one time, more or less touching. Fang, Master Fang Fan. I really know I was wrong. Please forgive my crime. I am willing to be punished. If you still don't feel relieved, you can take my life. The gold medal award made by the adjudication office made Sun Ziyi speak, and the cold sweat on his forehead became more and more crowded. At this moment, drops of sweat flowed down, and the whole person was completely plunged into panic. He made such a big sacrifice just to save his own life. If he still can't achieve his wish in the end, it would be too bad. Sun Ziyi looked at Fang Fan eagerly for the gold medal award of the adjudication office, hoping to get some reply. "My lord, I have nothing to do. Using the healing card you gave me, I have recovered. His is much more serious than my previous injury." Hao Yun took a breath and walked over. While talking at this moment, his body trembled unnaturally, his forehead was covered with cold sweat, and his trembling posture was vividly displayed. "The anxiety in my heart at this moment is extremely real, it can only be said that it really shows the restlessness in my heart." Fang Fan nodded secretly, then patted Hao Yun's shoulder and said, "You are mine, no one can bully you. But any existence that has bullied you must pay an equal price." Fang Fan glanced around, and the 7 or 8 adjudicators standing in front of him looked at each other, and then each took out their weapons and began to self-mutilate. Now that their backer, the deputy director of Black Bones, has been driven away, and the little boss, Sun Ziyi, the gold medal adjudicator, has set an example, and even lost both legs and feet, they can't just do nothing. Stab. Click. Ah. Ah, ah. Master Fang Fan, we don't dare anymore. Director Fang Fan, I'm in so much pain. My lord, I was wrong. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2007. There are endless voices of fear and begging for mercy, and most of the judges are still very discerning, knowing that the current situation is complicated. If they don't show a little sincerity, their lives may really be lost. Of course, there has never been a shortage of iron-headed babies in this world. Their heads seem to be stronger than ordinary people. Such a posture is vividly displayed, and it becomes more and more real. I don't want to harm myself. Fang Fan. Don't think that you can do anything wrong just because you are the director. I just injured a little 7th rank priest. What is this? I'm the silver adjudicator of the tribunal. I'm also the archbishop of the temple. I still have the backing of such sage behind me, I advise you to let me go. If not. Click. Fang Fan silently waved his hand, and then Galen raised his knife and fell, killing him completely. At the beginning, Fang Fan wanted to hear what this guy was talking about, but he didn't hear anything valuable in the end, so he just killed it. It is the first time to take up the post of the director of the Third Judgment Department of the Tribunal, so naturally he has to show some courage. Looking at the fresh head and warm blood, the ruling of the 3rd Division around who chose to self-mutilate made them inexplicably grateful. It's a good thing they didn't have head irons back then, otherwise their fate would have been so humble. Thinking of this, the feeling of gratitude became stronger and stronger. Various beliefs gathered in his mind, and the tremors of his body also increased. There are more or less such thoughts and ideas deep in my heart. Especially Sun Ziyi, the gold medal adjudicator of the adjudication office, was prostrate on the ground at this moment. His limbs were broken, but at least he was still alive. The cold sweat slowly rolled down his forehead, and his heart was actually full of warmth. He did what Fang Fan wanted, and went to accept the nomination certificate, so he wouldn't die like that iron-headed boy. Very good. If it was like this earlier, wouldn't there be no such things? Your name is, Sun Ziyi. Sun Ziyi's gold medal adjudicator. Tisk, do you want to get back to normal like him? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, looked at the Sun Ziyi, then pointed to Hao Yun who had fully recovered and said. It was the first time he came to the Judgment Envoy, and he needed a slightly heavier local snake to help him. I want to, of course I want to. How did he recover so quickly? His hands and feet are not fabricated out of thin air, nor are they ordinary flesh and blood, but are exactly the same as the original body, and the fit is as high as 100%. He broke a hand and a foot before, but it didn't affect him. This is too unbelievable. Sun Zi's lip was trembling for the gold medal award of the adjudication office. As he spoke, his body trembled more and more. Originally thought that all 4 limbs were disabled, and this life would be considered completely disabled. After all, how difficult it is to let one's limbs grow into what they were at the beginning. At that time, his cultivation base will also drop greatly. These sacrifices were originally made to save his life, but now he is suddenly told that he has a chance to avoid these sacrifices. How could this not make him feel excited? You need something in exchange. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly. There is no free lunch in the world. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2008. Exchange. I have, is there anything on me that Mr. Fang Fan would like? Master Fang Fan, just say it, Sun Zi, will never refuse. As long as I can grow my limbs again, so that I won't become a useless person. Sun Zi took a deep breath for the gold medal award of the adjudication office. While talking, his eyes became sharper, and various thoughts gathered in his mind, and the tremors of his body became larger and larger. Got some excitement. Surrender to me. Using this holy level slave card, from now on, you will completely surrender to me. Fang Fan's expression gradually became silent, all kinds of feelings gathered in his mind. He put his hands together in front of him, and all kinds of ideas suddenly exploded in his mind. At this moment, he needs to show his tough stance. This is the first time he came to take office at the tribunal. He needs a few confidants. The 4-star sanctuary level adjudication office's gold medal adjudication made Sun Zi obviously very suitable. Sun Zi looked at the holy war slave card delivered by Fang Fan, and his eyes became silent for a while. Although he didn't know what the holy war card was, he also knew that since Fang Fan took it out at this time, it was naturally not an ordinary thing. If he really accepted it, he would probably sink to this point completely. Various thoughts gathered in his mind, and the expression on Sun Zi's face became complicated. He didn't want to be a useless person, but he never thought of becoming a war slave of others. Since then, his fate has been completely controlled by others. Thinking of this, Sun Zi inexplicably felt even more panic. But if I refuse, I will be a useless person. In the temple, without a strong backer, it is absolutely impossible to survive. Before I served as the deputy director of Wugu, I also wanted to curry favor with the Zuch sage behind him, so that my position in the temple can be stabilized. As for now, although Director Fang Fan is the director of the Third Judgment Department, he is too young. But Dongguo Shen's attitude towards him is obviously very important. Now he doesn't have any strong cronies around him. If I join him at this time. Sun Zi secretly narrowed his eyes for the gold medal award of the adjudication office, and then took a few deep breaths, his body trembling unnaturally. It is really difficult for such a young director to make achievements in a short period of time, but with the great help of Dongguo Saint, the future is limitless. If I can choose the right time. Sun Zi clenched his fists and subconsciously swallowed a mouthful of saliva after the gold medal award from the adjudication office. This is a fateful moment of choice. I do. Director Fang Fan, from now on, Sun Zi, will definitely follow the lead of Director Fang Fan. I will go through fire and water. Sun Zi clenched his teeth for the gold medal award of the adjudication office. While talking, he immediately clenched the holy battle card in his hand. Fang Fan smiled slightly. Although he was not surprised by this result, it was quite refreshing to hear it at the moment. Various thoughts gathered in his mind, and the smile on the corner of his mouth was particularly vivid. Use the holy battle card. Fang Fan secretly shouted in his heart, and then this holy level war slave card directly turned into a piece of holy white light that shrouded Sun Zi's head, and then directly penetrated into his sea of consciousness. At first, Sun Zi wanted to resist subconsciously, but he trembled slightly, gritted his teeth, and then gave up resisting. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2009. Master Chief. Sun Zi silently raised his head in the gold medal award of the adjudication office, and then saluted respectfully. At this moment, he can have a feeling that as long as Fang Fan is willing, he can be killed directly in an instant. The so-called Holy War new card just now is amazing. Very good. This Holy Healing card, use it. In addition, call all the people from the 3rd department. It's my first time in the 3rd department, so I have to meet you. Fang Fan stretched his waist, and the smile on the corner of his mouth was vividly displayed. The 3rd Division of the Tribunal opened a gap. After explaining the relevant matters, Fang Fan secretly nodded to Saint Dongguo standing beside him. Thank you brother Dongguo for your help this time, otherwise that black bone wouldn't let it go. Fang Fan cupped his hands and thanked him very sincerely. In the temple, even if there are endless opportunities to be promoted in all aspects of the priesthood, and even rise to the top and control the power, if there is no support behind it, it is like a rootless duckweed. Just now when he felt the 6-star sanctuary realm cultivation base of the Black Bone deputy director, Fang Fan deeply felt that the power in his hands was still too far behind. If you want to eat thoroughly in the temple, these alone are obviously not enough. There is still a need for a full-scale outbreak, full-scale gathering of combat power. Comprehensive breakthrough. Brother Fang Fan, why do you and I need to talk about this? Don't say that we are sworn brothers, just say that we used to be the subordinate gods of the goddess Athena. Dong Qiushuo continued to speak arrogantly. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched, and he felt his scalp tingling for no reason. Before Fang Fan was bald and said something casually, but now this Dongguo saint seems to be completely convinced, and he can't get over this matter at all. If Fang Fan remembers correctly, the Saint Dongguo has said this sentence more than a dozen times in the past 2 days. At the beginning, Fang Fan felt that this was a good way to win over each other, but the more he listened, the scalp numbness became more and more intense. Yes, brother Dongguo is right. Fang Fan shrugged and could only prevaricate. It's just that this Dongguo sage is obviously unwilling to end the topic like this, but instead looks wonderful. By the way, brother Fang Fan, goddess Athena has shown divine favors on you several times. If you feel the divine protection of the great goddess again next time, can you also pull me in? Brother Fang Fan, don't worry, I don't want to share your grace, I just want to have a close contact with the great goddess Athena. This is the most sincere wish of every believer. While talking, Dongguo Saint's eyes became more and more earnest, and various thoughts gathered in his mind, and the tremors of his body became larger and larger. At this moment, while talking, his face became flushed again and again. Even an existence as powerful as Dongguo Saint is still very persistent in his beliefs. Their greatest wish in this life is to have a close conversation with the illusory true God. Even just a glance is enough to make him excited for thousands of years. Seeing the excited look of Dongguo Saint, Fang Fan sighed silently. The so-called true God is actually just like that. In fact, it's good to know nothing like now. If you really understand the essence of gods, it may be the moment when your faith collapses. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2010. Fang Fan sighed softly and looked at Dongguo Shenge. He really didn't know how to persuade him at this moment. Sometimes there is just one lie, one after another, and it goes on like this. Brother Donguo, don't worry, I will report to Goddess Athena when I have the chance. Fang Fan shrugged, and then said from the side. In fact, Fang Fan has always maintained a repulsive mentality towards those so-called gods. He had suffered countless calamities before, all brought about by those so-called gods. If he really encountered this goddess Athena, there is a high probability that Fang Fan still wants her to sing conquest for him. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and suddenly remembered the first and only time he had contact with the goddess Athena. At that time, the goddess Suying really wanted to stretch out her white and tender fingers and pick up her chin. Fang Fan let out a breath of foul air secretly, and the desire to complain in his heart at this moment was particularly strong. At this moment, I probably have such a lot of feelings. Now the overall situation is basically stable, and there is a high probability that there will be no deviation in the situation. Dongguo Shenge left directly after finishing speaking, leaving Fang Fan to continue to familiarize himself with related business in the Third Judgment Division of the Tribunal. The third department has a director and 2 deputy directors according to the normal establishment. In addition, there are 10 gold medal adjudicators, 100 silver medal adjudicators, 1,000 bronze adjudicators and 10,000 iron adjudicators. There are also tens of thousands of people in the official establishment. Moreover, these people are only the absolute elites of the temple, and everyone is a priest of the temple. The 5 major adjudication divisions of the adjudication office are basically similar in structure. Generally speaking, the gold medal adjudicator is served by the red-clothed archbishop of the 3rd rank or the deputy 3rd rank, and a few will be served by the acting cardinal of the 2nd rank, just like the gold medal adjudicator Sun Zi. The silver medal adjudicator is generally held by the archbishop of the 4th rank or the deputy archbishop of the 4th rank. The bronze medal judgment council will be held by the bishop of the 5th rank or the acting bishop of the 5th rank. As for the largest number of iron adjudication envoys, the composition is also more complicated. Generally, it is held by the 6th rank high priest to the 7th rank priest. The overall system is still relatively complete. If the people from the 3rd department were gathered together, more than 10,000 people would give people a sense of shock. About half an hour later, the martial arts hall of the 3rd department was densely packed with human heads. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, then silently raised the corners of his mouth. This could be regarded as his first step to control the entire temple. If you want to lurk and become the power-saving pope, you will naturally need a group of your own absolute confidants. My lord, the judges of the 1st, 8th, 9th, and 10th judgment teams are here. As for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th teams of the 6 judgment teams, the judgment envoy has not yet appeared. Sun Zi, the gold medal adjudicator of the 3rd division of the adjudication office and the leader of the 1st adjudication team, walked up to Fang Fan silently, and immediately complained. He who has been used the holy war Nuka has completely surrendered to Fang Fan at this moment. Words and deeds are naturally based on Fang Fan's will. On this point, Fang Fan was very satisfied. The so-called judgment team is actually an organization under the 3rd Judgment Division. The top 10 judgment teams under the 3rd Judgment Division, in theory, the 10 gold medal judges from the 3rd department will serve as team captains. In addition to the gold medal judge team leader, each judgment team will have 10 silver medal judges, 100 bronze adjudication envoys and 1,000 iron adjudication envoys.